Chris, I want to ask you about a little foreign policy. It's going to be a big foreign policy story, I predict, in the next weeks, days, maybe, and that's Iran. In my mind, and tell me if you disagree, it's no longer a question of whether we strike Iran. It is now, to me, and I'm just speculating here, only a question of to what extent do we strike Iran. And I have already, in my mind, kind of ruled out the pinprick option. That doesn't seem like that's something. You don't need this much hardware to do a pinprick strike like we did to going after the nuclear facilities in conjunction with Israel a ways back. This time feels like we're looking at a sustained military pulverizing. I don't think, again, I don't think we're talking about boots on the ground, but it sounds like we're going to beat the heck out of them, or that's what Trump wants to do, to the point of taking out leadership, maybe regime change. What is your expectation of where we're headed on Iran?
Well, I think the administration, I think the president really likes the Venezuela vibes, right? And certainly what their efforts were in Syria, which was, you find a guy, he's got maybe a little baggage, but maybe he'll be the realpolitik kind of cynical way of saying, we're not here. This is not a forward strategy of freedom. We're not here for the democracy. We're here for the United States of America, is appealing, right? Yeah. It's something that Donald Trump can sell to his base that is very skeptical about the use of the United States military overseas, right? The MAGA base, the America First people are not into that. That is antithetical. If you listen to J.D. Vance, if you listen to the things that people have said all this time, that's not where their head's at. So the sort of more cynical version, where you're like, yeah, we're taking out Maduro, but we're not going to like let some dewy-eyed democratic revolution take place. We're going to keep the regime in power, and we're going to bend it to our will. And Syria has a similar kind of story to tell. We can find bad people to do business with, and we're going to do it. And the United States used to do it. Ferdinand Marcos is not going to win any FIFA World Peace Prizes. And Manuel Noriega, Saddam Hussein himself, a Kissingerian era approach to U.S. foreign policy, often said, yeah, we'll find a bad person to do business with if that aligns with our interests. And so that's what the administration has been saying. Iran, who are the good guys? Who are the bad guys? I think Iran has like 90 million people in it.
Yeah. It's a whole different kettle of fish than Venezuela.
Venezuela is like Texas. It's about the size of population of Texas. Iran is a big country.
Yeah.
And it's in a real rough neighborhood. And it is the cause of a lot of the problems. So I guess I would say when Jimmy Carter when the Iranian Revolution, the consequences of which the world has been dealing with for a long time, right? When that got cooking, the idea was like, well, what if we trade? And then we could go back before that and back before that. We can go back. We can go back. Yeah, we can go way back to BP and all of that stuff. Let's talk about the Ottoman Empire if you want. But the idea in Iran that you're like, I think we can sort of, Kermit Roosevelt would have told you like, oh yeah, that's what we did. We were just able to like swap this guy out for that guy. It doesn't end the way that you think it's going to end. And Iran is awful big. There is nothing like the political will in the United States to sustain nation building in Iraq. And if you blow it up, right, and there's a revolution, at minimum, the amount of aid that you would need to fund Iran and get that country back on its feet, and how you would do it, would be a project for 3 presidential administrations.
Yeah. We got plenty of money,
Yeah, we got no problems. We're good. Let's do this one.
Chris, I want to show. Let's play a sound bite.
Oh, look at you using the lingo.
TV
guy.
The TV SOT. I guess that stands for sound on tape. Let's play some sound on tape of President Trump talking about Iran this week, please.
And we do have some work to do with Iran. They can't have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. You can't have peace in the Middle East if they have a nuclear weapon. So now we may have to take it a step further, or we may not. Maybe we're going to make a deal. You're going to be finding out over the next probably 10 days.
Oh, it's not 2 weeks anymore. It used to be 2 weeks. Now it's just
Yeah,
10 days.
now it's 10 days. I think it's so interesting to he does hedge all his bets. We're either going to do it or we're not going to do it, but we're going to find out over the next 10 days.
What would happen? What would happen if this? Think about it this way. So everybody says it's coming, and in Venezuela, it ultimately did come. We built up in Puerto Rico for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then it did come, and then it wasn't a big deal. I mean, it was a big deal if you're Nicolas Maduro, but it was a surgical strike. Grab this guy, take him out. What if, after all of this, what would happen to just counter argument that Trump said, we have a deal. Iran has agreed. They'll let inspectors in. They're fully getting rid of their nuclear program. And I declare peace. We are good. And I am satisfied. What happens then? What happens in the region? What happened? I mean, like we have definitely taken enough steps out on the tightrope in this matter that going forward or coming back are both perilous.
Yeah.